And so I continued to ask why. And I knew the answer. I didn't know the answer right then, but I knew that not only was Carrie being tested physically, but I was being tested spiritually. Because I can talk and talk and talk about, and I had been talking about, how I was, reading my Bible and staying in the Word, but that wasn't the truth. The truth was, I hadn't picked up the Bible in months, maybe even a year. Certainly wasn't taking it to church. Had lost a lot of faith in terms of, prayers I had asked for in the past that hadn't come true. And so I was at a crossroads. And so I had poured all my time and all of my energy into my kids and was loving on them because that's what I thought God wanted me to do. And so for him to do this to my son, the one he gave to me, I was angry. And it took the rest of that day, certainly, and into that next week for me to really see the answer. Because prior to that, I was unfortunate on my job and I got laid off and was still looking for work. But while I was looking for work, this happened. And I was able to spend those next 3 months with my son as he began to rehab and nurse himself, back to health. My wife couldn't do it. She was working. She was actually going to school to become a CCE director here at St. Philip. So she was in school every day. And someone had to be at home with Carrie. So I was free. And I was able to, work with him, especially during that first week because school was still in, and he had to be home. He couldn't be home by himself. So I was able to work with him and stay with him. He had all kinds of, adjustments to make to the medication. Sometimes it would make him sick. Well, who would be there to clean it up? But me. He had to have somebody there for him. And that's how I knew that it was my faith that had to be tested. How do I take care of someone who I love that much, who I have poured so much of my time and effort into helping him achieve his dreams, and when it seemed like, God was punishing us, but he wasn't. He was just preparing Carrie for the next step and preparing me for the next step to become more spiritual and to depend upon him even more. And not turn my back on him when I thought that, everything was going my way and going fine. And that's the lesson. That's the real lesson here. So if you get anything out of, what I'm presenting to you today, I really, really hope that you get today the sense that faith is something that we have to practice, something we have to get good at. It's not something that you come into this world knowing how to do. It's like riding a bike. You first have to get on it, and then you're going to fall a few times before you get good at it, and before you get the hang of it, and before you understand the process. But once you get the process down, you'll be really good, and it'll never leave you. And prayer will be a really good part of you. So I'm hoping that this helped you, and in some way you'll benefit from it. So, know that your faith will be challenged every day, every week, every hour, every minute, every year, because that's how it's supposed to be. And hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of this retreat, and I will see you guys when I return. Thanks. Have a great day.